Okay, so we can't talk about productivity without talking about the keyboard. So this is the Apple keyboard that I have owned for about like 10 years now, easily. And at the start of this COVID-19 pandemic, I wanted to change this to a different keyboard. And the main reason I really wanted to change was not because there's any issues with this. I like the typing experience. Um, it's really well made, and it does provide you with two USB outputs. So this I was using with the Logitech keyboard, Logitech mouse. So this is the one that comes with a USB receiver, so you can actually plug that into one of these USB outputs right here, and that will give you the access to your mouse, so you don't need to use one of the USBs on your PC. So this is the older version. This one has the standard USB. So my main issue with this keyboard was that you're basically typing most of the time with your body centered around this part of the keyboard. So if you're typing around this area and then you have to type in some of the numbers, you could obviously use this, but mostly you're relying on the numpad right here. So here's the problem that I was facing. So your body is centered here, you're typing like this, but anytime you want to use your mouse, your arm goes way out here, and not only it basically ends up here, so you have to like completely outstretch your arm. And if you're doing a lot of work, word processing and office type applications, you're clicking through a lot of files and numbers, cutting and pasting different things. So I was getting really a lot of pain in my right shoulder because I had to stretch my arm out. And because I work in the financial services industry, I thought that I wouldn't be able to live without a numpad. And most of the time I wasn't really using these keys, so you're typically using this area along with these arrow keys and the numpad. So I looked into some of the keyboards which you could basically get a keyboard which has the numpad on the left side, so you could train yourself to type with left hand. But I started looking into what are the different options, and actually I never knew about something called the mechanical keyboards. And then I started looking into it and found a lot of interesting things that mechanical keyboards are. So here's one of the popular ones. This is the Ducky One 2 Mini, and you can see how it compares with this keyboard. So it's about the keys are a little bit, I guess, better spaced out here, but you can see that this is about it cuts a big chunk of this part of the keyboard. So I wasn't really sure that I'll be able to live in working in finance and using a lot of Excel with just not having the function keys or having the separate numpad. So I just went ahead and gave it a try. I mean, I'm really not into an RGB thing, but I'm just showing it here just for fun. But it's good to have. I don't mind it. Sometimes I just turn it on like that. And good thing this was that this is in white. So it does. This one unfortunately doesn't have a USB plug to plug into the your mouse. So it does only have a USB-C. It comes with a USB-C to standard USB. So that's what I'm using right now. And I would say that there was quite a bit of a learning curve for the first time going from these kind of keyboards to a mechanical keyboard. But I would say it was really a good experience to actually get used to this thing. So the keys, that the way you type, and this is the MX Cherry Brown switches on this Ducky One 2 Mini. These are probably rated one of the better ones for typing, gaming. I'm not into gaming, any of that stuff, so I'm just using it typing and office work. But so what are some of the difference between this one and this one? Obviously there's no some number pad, but in a way I trained myself to like start using the top rows, which is good in a way because you're hands don't leave the main area over here, so typing experience, so you can just type numbers right here. Of course it's not as fast, but I'm not typing a whole ton of numbers. I do quite a bit, but it's good enough for me that I can just rely on this. The other thing a little bit unique here was that the function keys. So the arrow keys. So the arrow keys are actually right here, and the way you activate the arrow keys are that you just press this function bar right here and then press the arrow keys. I do use a lot of the arrow key feature, but I thought it would be good to have the arrow keys on the side. But again, I think if you have the arrow keys on the side, you're moving your hand out of this central area and then start to use the arrow keys and then push it back here. So I think now I've been using it for about like 6 to 8 months now, and I think I'm quite used to having the arrow keys here. They do make one, it's called Ducky One to SF, which is 65%. That one does have arrow keys, but they have taken this key out, which I really don't use, but they've shrunk the shift key to put an arrow key here and then basically put the page up and page down. So a lot of time in Excel, when you use it, when you're scrolling through the tabs, so you control alt and page up and page down, but you can't do that here, so you have to press the extra function key to do page up and page down. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I got used to it. You're just holding one extra key. Function keys, of course, you use it quite a bit in Excel, so F9 to fresh, and control 1 is fine, but most of the, as you can realize, most of the function keys are not really used, so not having a separate row for function key is not a big deal at all. So the number part is the one which I'm still thinking of getting a separate numpad, but so far I didn't realize that. I don't think I need it yet. But the main real thing about this one was that, as you can compare now, that the mouse is right here. So I don't compare to like this keyboard here, the mouse is right here. So if you're using it all day long, the mouse, you can see how stressful it is for your arm. I don't know why they have stuck with this version. They should start be putting the numpad on the left side for most people. So the typing experience itself is really good. It's very crisp. It's not too loud, so you can keep it low. I think my typing speed has improved quite a bit ever since I've been using this, because the way it feels under your fingers is very satisfying feel. And I think the size itself, this is the main area that you're using. Your hands stay in this area. So this keyboard has a lot of other features which I don't really use. So it has like macros that you can watch other videos on the web which go into how you can have different settings. I mean, I'm not too familiar into this other settings here. You can, these called hotkey swaps or something like that. So you can move these keys from one to the other. All of these keys are removable. So you can take out one of the keys. Let me show you how that's done. So it did come with this extra set of some keys, and you can just kind of like, I guess, customize them. I tried them on for a while, but I didn't really like it. So you have you can remove these keys from the keyboard quite easily like this, and just add, if you want to give it some flair. And you have some other keys right here, so you can use the number keys, and this is the escape key. So I didn't put them on. One thing was that I really like the white layout, so I'm not really using this. So they have an extra space bar if you don't like the piggy. So this is not see-through, so this one, the color comes out of this. So sometimes I play with these. So the way to change colors is function alt and T to go through all different iterations. And this is quite useful. Actually, I use it to like sometimes take off all the keys and wash them literally with light soap and then put them back on and clean underneath. But the bottom, it does have two settings of the feet, so you can have it high and low. I usually have it on this setting. It feels really good. So overall, I would say it has improved my productivity. It's less pain on my right shoulder because of using mouse excessively. I certainly think this is something someone who's not familiar with mechanical keyboards or has been stuck with this thing for a long time. This one was not cheap. It was like $100 10 years ago when I purchased it. So this is also about $110 as well. So I think it's worth giving it a try. And for somebody who's completely unfamiliar with mechanical switches, I would say MX Cherry Brown is the way to go. I haven't had any issues. They're not too, they don't take too much force, and they're not too mushy either. So just the right kind of balance. So I would say when you clicking down, so it goes smooth, and then you have some little bit of a bump to press the key to register the key. So this is it for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.